Do you want to reduce your energy bills? Or maybe you want to use greener energy? Go solar and get a discount. Right now, Which members can get a 7.5% discount on solar panels and their installation if you use Heatable, a Which Trusted Trader approved service. You can also include a storage battery and EV charger, handy if you're looking at making the switch to an electric car. To make use of this exclusive offer, simply head to which.co.uk/solar-offer. That's which.co.uk/solar-offer before the 30th of September 2025. And if you're not already a Which member, you can grab a year's membership for 50% off the usual price. To do that, go to which.co.uk/podcast offer to get involved. Start your solar journey today. Go solar and get a discount with Which.
I bet I'm not the only one who struggles to fit a mobile phone into my pocket. And no, it's not because your pockets are shrinking. Hello, James Rowe here with you for this episode of Which Short, and this week I found a piece that Amy Axworthy has written in the June edition of Which magazine, all about the sizes of mobile phones and why they seem to be getting bigger and bigger. She explains why manufacturers seem to be reducing the amount of small phones that we can buy and what you could do to get a phone that actually fits in the palm of your hand. Here's Amy's piece, adapted for the podcast this week, read by Amy herself.
A lot of phone manufacturers have stopped making smaller phones, but many of us still love them and even think the mobile in our own pocket is too large. Our research has shown that 1 in 3 Which members think that modern smartphones are generally too big, and even 1 in 5 think their own is bigger than they'd like. Even Apple, one of the biggest players in the market, has abandoned its small handsets. Since 2018, its most affordable phone has been the iPhone SE, the last of which launched for £419 in 2022, sporting a 4.7-inch screen. But Apple's new affordable phone, the iPhone 16e, will cost you £180 more, and it has a much bigger screen, coming in at 6.1 inches. But the SE wasn't the only small iPhone launched in recent years. The more expensive 13 mini and 12 mini were stablemates in Apple's flagship series a few years ago. But they've been replaced by the iPhone Plus, which, you guessed it, is bigger still. And it's not just Apple. We haven't tested an Android device smaller than 6 inches since 2020. Not because we don't want to, but because none of the main manufacturers have released one since then. You no longer have to spend big to get a big screen either. The cheapest Android phone we've tested so far this year has a 6.7-inch screen. If a big phone just isn't for you, you might find a small screen one on the second-hand or refurbished market, but you won't have many to choose from. You could opt for a folding phone from brands such as Motorola, Samsung or Xiaomi. There are 2 types. Some are the size of a miniature tablet when opened and fold down to reveal a second screen around 6 inches tall. But it's the second type that gives you the small phone experience. When open, the main screen measures around 6 to 6.5 inches and you can fold it down to a pocket-friendly size. But they're not cheap. Prices range from £700 to more than £1,500. They're also quite thick when folded down and can take some getting used to after owning a sleek, thin phone. Software updates aren't helping the situation, with some web pages no longer optimised for smaller screens, cutting off the last section of a page from view. Much of the industry blames the discontinuation of smaller phones on low sales rates, and the smallest smartphones we review now have 6.1-inch screens. But given 21% of our members prefer to have a small phone, which we consider to be one with a screen size of about 5.5 inches or smaller, could manufacturers be missing a trick? We think so. When we asked why some members think their current smartphone is too big, 80% said they found it difficult to fit it into a pocket or a small bag, and 38% said they found it difficult to use comfortably in one hand. This is frustrating for something that's, first and foremost, meant to be a portable device. On the flip side, it can be tricky for manufacturers to fit all the latest high-end features and a capable battery into a smaller handset. This matters because there is huge pressure on them to keep innovating every year and tempting customers to upgrade. But of those who said they would prefer a smaller phone in our survey, 57% said they would compromise on another key feature, such as accepting lower-end cameras or a weaker processor in order to have a smaller phone. But regardless of the potential appetite for a small-scale handset, both Apple and Android manufacturers have made it clear with their latest releases that they're unlikely to make a comeback.
Thanks for listening to this podcast from Which, the UK's consumer champion. You can find plenty more advice about what we discussed today in the show notes. There you'll also find a link to become a Which member for 50% off the usual price, an offer exclusively available to you, our podcast listeners. Joining Which will not only give you access to all of our product reviews, our app, one-to-one personalised buying advice and every issue of Which magazine across the air, but you'll also be helping us to make life simpler, fairer and safer for everyone. Don't forget to hit subscribe wherever you're listening, that way you'll be notified whenever we release a new episode of Which Money, Which Shorts or another podcast that we make for you. And if you want to get in touch with us, then follow us on social media, we're at WhicHUK, or you can drop us an email to podcasts@which.co.uk. See you next time.
If you're enjoying this podcast from us here at Which, then why not become a Which member? Right now, we've got a special offer, especially for podcast listeners, meaning you can choose any of our 3 membership tiers for 50% off the usual price. Starting at just £39.50 for a full year, you can get Which magazine delivered direct to your door. For the same price, you could also choose a digital Which subscription, giving you access to all of our product reviews, the Which app, and the digital edition of Which magazine. What's more, you'll also be able to use the Ask Which service for personalised one-to-one buying advice. Or why not get a full access Which subscription for just £49.50 for a full year? Don't forget, that's 50% off the usual price. To join Which or to find out more, just head to which.co.uk/podcast offer. That's which.co.uk/podcast offer, or click the link in the description for today's podcast for 50% off a Which annual subscription.